Coming up on this episode of Don't Panic, we talk about Apple and their possible new announcement this week and what they might be talking about, including Apple Pay. We also talk about Snapchat leaking some of your information and new ads coming soon. We also talk about Tesla's D, their super fast car, and it may be driving for you before you know it. It's a great episode of Don't Panic. Stick around because it's coming up next. This is Don't Panic, episode number 66, recorded October 13th, 2014. On Snapchat ads, iPad Gold, and getting Tesla's D. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Don't Panic, the technology podcast that can't handle the D. And you'll find out why later when we talk about Tesla. But first, let me introduce the honeydew and cantaloupe of technology, our own melonheads. They are Dan Miller and Colby Rabideau. Guys, what is going on?
Not much.
Nothing really.
Nothing really. Nothing at all, Colby.
Not
What
really.
did you do today with your? What did you do with yourself?
Today I traveled back from
Oh,
Connecticut.
yeah.
The second
we were.
leg of my post-alumni weekend journey. Yeah. I also ate some leftover pizza and some apple cider donut holes. They were very tasty.
That sounds like a busy day.
Yeah, it was
Those
It was
donut holes don't
intense,
eat
but-
themselves.
it's hard work.
For dinner
Serious
tonight, I had a box of stovetop stuffing. So
A whole
I'm-
box.
a whole box. I'm living the dream.
Did you at least put some gravy on it?
Dinner? No, it was literally just a box of stovetop. I cooked it.
That's good.
It was what I wanted. So
Hey,
I
that's
feel
what being
you,
an
Sean.
adult is all about.
that's right.
Stovetop
Want a box of
stuffing.
stovetop stuffing for
Being
dinner?
terribly unhealthy. The American way. Well, thanks to all of you out there for joining us on this episode of Don't Panic. We do the show every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, live on the internet through our website, don'tpanic.io. Go there, get links to not only the live show, but audio and video of past episodes. We do this in HD, fun to watch on your big screen. And subscribe, RSS, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, you name it, we're there. So we appreciate you joining us and putting up with my congested voice. Why don't we jump into some technology news? And any particular story here that's got you guys excited to talk about, or should I pick one at random?
I've got one I'm not excited to talk about. If that helps you at all, I'm not excited to talk about Facebook stickers on
Yeah.
on
Now,
posts.
all right, Dan, are you seriously telling me you're not excited about Facebook stickers?
I mean, I saw if that was the first one, I would have thought, "Oh man, what a slow news week." But as it is, it's not that slow of a news week. I'm not that excited about it.
Aw.
Yeah. I don't
See,
know.
I like my Facebook posts and comments to contain a little more material than what I text to Colby, for example, even though the material that Colby and I have in our Facebook chat is pretty awesome. But but I don't know. Like, I don't want someone to just cover my Facebook post and just put like a stupid fat cat with a birthday cake on it.
Yeah.
I want an individualized message.
To be honest, I did not realize that was not public yet.
Have you
I
guys
think
been
there-
using it internally to communicate important
Yeah.
business decisions?
Internally, that was a thing like when I started working last year.
Wow.
I could be exaggerating a little, but it's been around for a while.
Well, you know, it's funny. Over this last week, I've gone on Facebook once or twice, and every time I look at it for about 2 seconds and then shut it right off. It is so useless to me. It's gotten to just a point of no return.
Yeah, it's pretty not thrilling, I've found.
Now, Twitter, I'm on all the time.
But okay, I'm on Twitter more than Facebook. I agree, but I think Facebook I almost appreciate it now because it will show me the stories I want. If I go on like maybe 4 or 5 times a day, I would say, and it'll show me the stories that I want to see right at the top. I don't ever feel like I missed something I wanted to see Whereas Twitter is like, there you have all hope is lost. You have no, you maybe someone that little notification will pop up that says, "Oh, 5 of your friends favorited this tweet or followed this person," and then you might think, "Oh, what happened?" But otherwise, that would you totally miss it.
I've been I've been using Twitter a little more lately, and I've been like curating my feed. So I'm
How?
trying to get back down under 100 followees, because I feel like I found that is
Wouldn't
the
no.
optimum.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. You're right. Followees.
Yeah, people I'm following. Yeah, so I like it. I've been using their mobile web app, and one thing that really annoys me is it's a pretty nice mobile web app, all things considered. But literally every time you refresh the page, it puts the like download Twitter for Android banner on the top, and I hit the X, and I'm like, obviously I'm not going to do this because I've hit the X. I don't know, like 67 times.
Gotta store that cookie.
I guess so. I don't know what they're doing.
Now, is there a reason why you use the website over that app or any other app?
Because the app kept sending me those, like, these random people retweeted this tweet that you don't give a fuck about, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it off, so I just deleted it.
See, for me, it's not random people, though. It's only people I follow. It does that.
I mean, it's people I follow, but it's always like, it's like all the Laravel people retweet something random, and I don't like. I generally don't like. That's not a huge part of my life right now, so it's not like I really don't care enough to get a notification about it.
Yeah.
So it was either the Laravel people or all the Etsy people. You guys tend to retweet the same things a lot, but yeah, I got frustrated. The notification controlling that stuff on Android is harder than iOS, so like I couldn't figure out how to just like turn them off. Yeah, because iOS you have the system pref to just turn off notifications, and on Android it's an app by app thing. And
yeah, but on Android you can typically control per like more granular notification settings, like if you want to get notified for mentions, or probably like, and I know that some third-party iOS apps for Twitter will do this.
Right.
But that's not the norm on iOS.
Right. I mean, to be fair, I'm sure there's a way to do what I wanted to do. I was just not patient enough to do it. So.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, if stickers and Facebook comments isn't enough to get your juices flowing, let's talk about some actual news. Yeah, I know, exactly. Let's start with Tesla. Now, I'm an impulsive gadget buyer. I don't know if this one's going to make my list. Might, though. I could just imagine showing up one day with a Tesla.
Like, you'll Skype in and it'll be from the giant touchscreen on the console.
Yeah. I'm just going to try it for like a month. If I don't like it, I'll send it back. I don't know. Seemed like a good idea.
Sell on Craigslist.
Yeah, exactly. Tesla announced a new car this week. It's kind of like the old car. It looks the same. But what's different is all-wheel drive and performance. So you're going to get 3 configurations: the 60D, the 85D, and the P85D. The top of the line, the P85D, is $120,000. But what you get for that is an all-wheel drive sports supercar. So beginning with the all-wheel drive, it's interesting for Tesla, apparently, and I don't know how cars work, but it's different doing all-wheel drive with an electric car. So what Tesla's done is they actually now fit 2 motors to a car, one for the back wheels and one for the front wheels, as opposed to your traditional 4-wheel drive car, which has one motor connected through the axle to do all 4 wheels. They say the D will add a range of 10 extra miles per charge and bring 0 to 60 time to just 3.2 seconds on the high-end performance model, right in line with a Lamborghini, Ferrari, that crowd right there. In addition to having it be more expensive and faster, they've added new safety features. stacked with all kinds of sensors on the car that allow things including autopilot, which automatically the car will drive itself into the other lane, not to kill you, but to, you know, have you steer around cars. When you say it like that, it sounds like it's a death trap. It's not. It also has more traditional things that you're used to, including lane detection, that radar-enabled cruise control, all of those features as well. So these cars range from about 60,000 upwards of 120,000. Any thoughts on the D?
I want to say this is a joke.
Okay.
But I want the D.
You want the D. Colby wants the D. Colby, what excites you about the D?
I don't know. It seems cool. I want it for the same reasons I wanted another Tesla. I don't really want it. I don't want a car at all.
You don't really want it? Like, if money were no obstacle.
I mean, I guess
I think that's the bar for want.
Yeah, but if money were no obstacle and this was up against a Ferrari, or I mean, would you choose it over that?
I think so, because it's cool in ways a Ferrari is not cool. And also
cool in a way that you probably care about that a Ferrari isn't cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're kind of the Tesla market here, more than the Ferrari market.
Definitely. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. I guess I don't entirely understand the drive, like the self-driving stuff. I'm interested in it though, but I don't know. I'm interested to know, is it
It's not self-driving, really. It's like assist. No. It's like the next logical step after lane assist.
Yeah, it's not a lot more than what else is on other vehicles, to be quite honest.
Right. I do like the idea of the automatic parallel parking though, because that's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Didn't another car have that first though?
A lot of cars
that definitely exists.
Oh wow,
a lot of cars, even like Fords. Really cool. A lot of cars do now.
Even Fords.
They say that Tesla, it's a 360-degree sonar, a camera with image recognition, and a forward-looking radar that allows all of that sort of lane control, active emergency braking, self-parking to be possible.
Yeah, I mean, that seems really cool. Awesome.
And I think that's kind of the cool advantage of a car that's based around electronics so heavily is, you know, when you have electric motors that can be fine-tuned so much more precisely than a gas motor or a diesel engine, is that they can push software updates to your car and add new features when all these sensors are enabled. So for them to put in a self-driving aspect or to, you know, kind of move that along may not require you to get a new car. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it seems like it has way more technology that does the same things that other cars do with less technology, so there might be room to grow.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other exciting thing is, as someone, well, now all three of us live in the Northeast, so we know what winters are like. I think having an all-wheel drive car, especially in a sedan, which you actually see, you know, very rarely, I think is a great feature. And I have to imagine, I'd be curious to see tests, but because the motors run independently and are so fine-tuned, I have to imagine it gets better grip and better traction, and when you can individually tweak everything so specifically.
Well, that's why people love their Subarus, right?
Mm-hmm.
The all-wheel drive.
But now you can have it on like a super cool sports car.
So this is semi-unrelated, but I was just thinking, you mentioned winter, and I wonder how the Tesla battery does when it's fucking cold as hell out.
Yeah, there was something about that, right?
Yeah, I do remember when the car first came out, that was a huge concern, and Tesla did those ridiculous, we're going to drive it to Antarctica and see, you know, the ridiculous tests.
Nice.
And as far as I know, I don't think there have been any kind of major issues. That and Tesla guarantees their batteries for such an absurd amount of time.
Right. That's cool.
If there was any noticeable like damage, I think they would fix it. But I don't know about retaining a charge. But I believe there's some technology. I don't know if Dan is.
Also,
I'm Googling it.
Okay.
Another slightly related question: has Top Gear had a Tesla on? I assume they have.
Yeah, this was a big deal. This was a big controversy. So they had the original Tesla Roadster, which was the convertible sports car,
Mhm.
and Tesla sued them. They had a lawsuit because on the show, Top Gear claimed that the car went like 2 laps around the track and kept breaking down, and the batteries died, and all this stuff, and they had all these problems. And Tesla claimed that Top Gear faked a lot of that for the show, and it was scripted even before they got the car, and there was nothing wrong with the car. And they had a big lawsuit. And I want to say they settled out of court eventually, but it was this big thing where Tesla said, "Oh, we saw the scripts ahead of time, and they lied about the car running out of batteries, and they just wanted to say electric cars are bad." And yeah, and they haven't, unsurprisingly, haven't been on the show since.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's disappointing.
If they guarantee the battery to -5 degrees Fahrenheit. If the battery is below freezing when you start driving, regenerative braking will be disabled and the battery will be a bit less efficient, but it'll warm up in 10 to 15 minutes. If you leave the car plugged in but not in storage mode, whatever that is, it will heat the battery to keep it above freezing. This allows you to use all the features as soon as you drive the car at the cost of battery life while the car is parked.
Interesting.
Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's exciting. I just like cool, shiny, expensive things, so
Yeah.
this does it for me.
Things that we can't afford someday.
Yeah. Someday, yeah.
Oh, you're just going to get like twice as many viewers and we'd start rolling in the dough.
Yeah, exactly. Gee, we should probably maybe talk about cars more. Maybe people like that. I don't know. I have to imagine a car show starring us would be quite hilarious. 2 guys who don't own cars and a third guy who owns a Hyundai. So very good. Let's continue onward with more news, and let's talk about Snapchat.
Snapchat. I don't know how to use that.
You don't know. You don't know how. You have a Snapchat. I know you do.
I know I do. I'm so bad though. I've never felt like I've been bad at a technology before until Snapchat. Snapchat makes me feel old.
So I want to hear why. So explain why you think you're so bad at it.
Like someone sent me something today, and it was a Snapchat meant just for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a message to me. It was telling me something I wanted to know. My friend accidentally spilled water on his laptop on Friday, and he sent me a picture of it turning back on and working again. And I wanted to respond to that, but I couldn't respond with a picture because I was just at my desk at work. What was I supposed to respond with a picture of? So then I was like, oh, I'll respond with a text. So you swipe right, and it brings you to this screen, and there's a send a chat thing. Oh, I know what my problem was now. I was pressing the stupid yellow button.
Oh, that takes a picture.
It takes a picture. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm Dan. I am 100% in alignment that their app is really poorly designed.
And I can't figure out how to get to the stories. So sometimes a notification will pop up saying, oh, these friends have stories for today, which I didn't know what that meant for the longest time. But if I don't have that notification and I want to go back to the stories because I didn't watch all of them, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, there's a purple icon.
Yeah, or do you just keep swiping? If you keep swiping things towards the left, you'll eventually get there. Everything is swiping. It's all swiping.
The old edge swipe.
Yeah, that's where they get you. Yeah, so Snapchat, the kind of self-deleting messaging service. 2 pieces of news from them this week. We'll start with the more positive. I don't know if it's positive. Ads coming to Snapchat. If you were wondering how they were. Yeah, it turns out A, you have to make money on the internet, and B, ads are a good way to do it. So, the company's co-founder and CEO Evan Spiegel said at the Vanity Fair New Establishment Summit, which I don't know what that is, said that people are going to start to see the first ads on Snapchat soon. They're going to be part of the Stories feature, and they'll be opt-in. And by that they mean users can choose to look at them or skip by them. And they'll be part of the more public stories. So let me see if there's any public. So you may have seen in your stories, if you're a Snapchat user, that
Like county fair or something.
sports events or concerts, or they'll appear there. They won't appear in your personal
So
stories.
you have to opt in to see them. It's not
Well-
opt out. It's opt in.
Well, by opt-in, they mean A, you would have to look at that story, and B, and actually I
Right.
didn't. Here's a Snapchat tip for you. I did not know this. But if you're looking at a large sequence of snaps, like in a story, if you're
Yeah.
holding your finger, and this is, I'm following The Verge on Snapchat, which is actually interesting. But if while you're holding it, if like, here, I'll wait till this goes. So this next one's like 10 seconds. If while you're holding it, you tap, it skips you to the next one automatically without having to wait 8 seconds or 10 seconds.
What?
And you just tap and skip through all of them if one isn't of your interest.
That's
Oh
great.
man.
I wish someone had told me that. That's what they mean by
Game
opt-in,
changer.
is you'll be able to tap past those ads in that same manner. You won't be forced to sit and watch them for 5 or 10 seconds.
That's
Wait,
great.
so you'd only see ads while you're watching people's stories?
Public event type stories, not posted by an individual,
Oh.
but rather those kind of open-ended. And I have a feeling they're going to start doing more of those.
Well,
Like
I mean,
Oscars or the Super Bowl or what
Yeah.
have you.
my favorite part about those is that I hate them. Just thought you should know.
Oh, that's
Your
funny.
favorite part of what?
The public event story, like the things in Snapchat that I didn't ask for.
Mm.
I find them way more unpleasant than the things on all the other sites that I didn't ask for.
Well, and maybe this is my opinion, I think most of the reason why they suck is because they're usually college sporting events or
Right.
electronic dance music concerts.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem. They're things I don't care about. At least like Facebook and Twitter try. Like they're not always good, but like they try and make it something I care about. Like I can see where they were coming from. When it's like the EDM festival of the world, like I don't
Yeah.
listen to any EDM.
Well,
at
and
all.
I'm hoping because like if they had one at like Google I/O or even at like the Oscars or something like
Right.
that, I might find interesting. And I have a feeling if ads are going to be a big part of what they're going to be doing, I have to imagine they'll expand. Mainly because, I have to imagine brands want to be relevant. So a college football game, I could imagine a beer company advertising or Doritos advertising, but there are going to be some companies who that's not going to work for. So I think they're going to branch out into more stuff with that.
Mhm.
But I actually think this is kind of a smart way to do ads, right? So everyone was all concerned they're going to start putting ads and banners on my Snapchats, and I mean they're in public things. You can tap through them if you like. They're not particularly invasive. I mean, unless you guys disagree, but I actually think if Snapchat had to do ads, this isn't a particularly bad way to do it.
No, it doesn't sound like a bad way to do it. It sounds like something I won't notice because, to be honest, I don't really look at stories either. I look at the chats. I'm probably a very bad Snapchatter. I almost never respond to people when they snap me stuff.
Same.
And I'm always surprised when people respond to
In
my
fact,
stuff.
I pretty much only respond to Colby for some reason.
Yeah,
Colby's a pretty good Snapchatter. I'll agree.
maybe
because
it's just you.
I have
respond.
a friend who I won't name who sends snaps of every friggin' thing they do. Oh, I'm eating dinner. Oh, I'm reading a book. Oh, I'm driving in a car. Oh, I'm doing this. And I know for a fact they just blast it to everyone in their contacts with no expectation of a response. And I'm like, A, they have stories, buddy. You don't have to do this. But also, B, I don't care. Stop doing this. That's why I like Colby, because he only sends a few very relevant snaps. So, good
High
job.
quality. Thanks, Sean. It's high praise. It
Yeah,
feels
you're
good.
welcome. Most of them are dick pics, but you take the good with the bad. We were roommates. I've seen it all. Anyway, let's talk about
Just like the D.
yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the not so good news about Snapchat. 4chan, the ultimate source of terrible things on the internet, someone on there has claimed that a cache of private Snapchats has been extracted from a third-party app and may be posted online. So the way this worked is there are apps apparently that interact with Snapchat. They have some kind of API or something.
I don't think these are legal apps.
No, I don't think they
are reverse engineered apps.
And I know that the purpose of this app specifically for this leak was an app that allowed you to save screenshots without telling the other person you did it.
Yeah.
And that's where they leaked. Now they've claimed that the leak is as high as 13 gigabytes of private Snapchat. That number got busted down to about 500 megabytes. Still a lot of information. We're not quite sure what exactly is in it. And Snapchat claims that their servers were never breached and that Snapchat was not the source of these leaks. In addition, the third-party apps used to send and receive Snapchats is expressly prohibited in the Snapchat terms of use, and that Snapchat is not happy about that. So let this be a public service announcement from Don't Panic to don't be a moron and use sketchy third-party apps the original app did not intend you to use. There's a reason why they send a notification when you took a screen grab. By working around it, you're enabling yourself to get in a lot of trouble. So don't do that.
Yeah, and why doesn't Snapchat encrypt their API calls?
Well, that was another... Now, I don't know if you saw... let me post this, because there was a story that they wrote about the APIs, and I did not understand any of it because I'm not... here's the article. Developers say it's far too easy to crack Snapchat's API.
Because the way public-private key cryptography works means that the public key is on the client and is sent to the server, but the private key is on the server, and then you could encrypt everything pretty easily.
So what you're saying is they should maybe be using authentication tokens instead? Would that be a better alternative? Kind of like how Facebook or Twitter allows authentication for an app that can then be revoked?
No, because that doesn't make any guarantees about the encryption of that data.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of using SSL, and SSL can actually be man in the middle if you control all parts of the network, which at your house you do. Or if someone wants to at like a coffee shop or something. But encrypting the message would be like instead of going to different URLs, you just send this encrypted blob to one URL, and then you get back an encrypted response, but you can't read what's inside of it. So the message itself is actually in plain text, but the message itself is encrypted. It's not over SSL, if that makes any sense. I don't understand why they didn't do that. For applications where privacy is a big concern.
Well, yeah, especially like Snapchat.
Right. It seems like if you're don't do that for your app you're making for whatever, a game or something silly like that, but do that for a communications app.
Well, yeah, and an app who's based around the idea of we delete your things, we're inherently secure because we don't keep things. But
right, and as it stands, if you ran a coffee shop and you wanted to just sniff for every Snapchat picture, you just could. You could just download all of them that get sent over your network. That's no good.
Computers.
Thanks, Colby. So
insightful commentary,
as always. So the short version is, I mean, Dan, let me ask you, what can users do to be more secure in using Snapchat? Don't use it.
Use a VPN.
Use a VPN. That's good advice.
Yeah, I guess you could do that on your phones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the only way, unless the Snapchat people change it.
Or pressure Snapchat to... And I have a feeling that this will hopefully... Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first that I can remember where there's been some kind of snafu with Snapchat.
No. In fact, friend of the show, Bob Nisko, was featured in Engadget for his discovery that the old Android Snapchat app stored all of the snaps you sent locally unencrypted.
I remember that. I did not know that was Bob, though. That's great.
Yeah. There you go.
Good on Bob. We knew him when.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so just be careful. And to be honest, you shouldn't be posting anything inappropriate. Like everything I've ever snapped, I'm not going to be embarrassed if it gets released. I don't really recommend anyone Snapchat anything inappropriate. I think that's generally good practice. But maybe that's just me. Let's continue onward to talk about the Apple Corporation. We have a big Apple event this week. I felt like we just had one.
Yeah, we're still trying to
wasn't that,
figure
like,
out all the stuff with the
weeks
Apple
ago?
Watch.
And already there, it's the double feature here. This week on Thursday, which is the 15th, 16th. On the 16th, Apple is having a new announcement. They sent out the invitations already. What do we expect to see there? Well, I think the obvious candidate goes to the iPad. So it's expected to see a new iPad Air in the same kind of style and design as the new iPhones. It's believed that there'll be a Touch ID fingerprint sensor, no particular surprise there. But also a gold color option, which hasn't been available on the iPads. Subtle changes, probably a better camera, better processor, more RAM. A long shot speculation, that huge 12 to 13 inch iPad, that maybe, iPad Pro, which may or may not happen. The same goes for the Mini, possibly the new design, Touch ID, faster processors. Now, it's also possible, Recode reporting that there may be an iMac with a high-resolution Retina display.
That would be awesome.
First time on a desktop computer for Apple.
That would be pretty crazy.
Now, some reports suggest that Apple will start with a single iMac model at 27 inches with a 5K resolution.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary.
That's what I want.
That is
That's a lot of Ks.
That is...
John,
Ks for days.
if you stared at monospace text in a day as much as I do,
then I would know.
What
you
Dan
would
said.
understand.
Actually, I have a horrific monitor at work, and I feel for you that I stare at it all day, and it hurts.
Yeah. It
So-
makes it's that, your keyboard and your chair are the three most important things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I can talk my boss into buying me a 5K Mac for my desk.
Well, you might as well get the Mac Pro too,
Yeah, with
Just
the 5K
5K,
cinema display and the whole... Yeah,
or you could get two of those iMacs, just run them in display mode off of a Mac Pro.
there you go. And we'll get one of those
10K.
those fancy keyboards that
Mm-hmm.
are all the rage.
Yeah.
So I have a keyboard story, or a keyboard dilemma.
Go for it.
I have my fancy keyboard that I got a while ago, like in the winter, I guess, or maybe the spring, which I really like, but I haven't brought it to work yet because literally every single person I've seen at work uses the Apple keyboard, and I don't.
Will be the Messiah.
Yeah, maybe, but I also don't want to be the dickhead with the loud keyboard.
What's the deal with the new guy? He's so loud.
I mean, to be honest,
Is it really that loud?
I mean, it's loud. It's louder than a. I don't think it is. And to be honest,
what percentage of people in your vicinity are wearing headphones almost all day?
almost all of them. The other thing is our small room. We sit with the salespeople for our products, so all day long they're talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly disruptive.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're not used to having people talking on the phone all the time. But yeah, now that I think about it, maybe it's not a dilemma. Maybe I'll have to bring that in tomorrow. 'Cause I just haven't used it because it's been sitting here on my computer here, just sad and alone. It's messed up.
Untyped.
Yeah,
Just like JavaScript.
I wish it were.
Oh well. That's most of the Apple announcement. We're also going to see OS X Yosemite finally go live, including
Why are you two calling it Yosemite?
because it's fun. Because Colby does it, and
Yeah.
it's funny.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't actually called that because stranger things have happened to me.
Dan, you didn't know it's
They changed the
Yosemite.
name. They changed the pronunciation.
Apple can do that. They've got the cash. They could buy Yosemite if they wanted. Of course, with the actual launch of that, we're going to see the new continuity features, which most people haven't been able to play with yet, where you can bounce information between your computers and your iOS devices. That's what is pretty much expected out of
Do
this
we think
announcement.
we'll see Apple Pay on Thursday?
Yes, I believe we will. We have another story in the rundown we'll talk about in a minute, but
Oh, sorry.
yeah, no, you're fine. I think that's exactly right. I think it'll be more of a mention than a full-on demo. Just saying,
Right, but
gone
will they
live.
say like, "Oh, it's live for Chase customers and like these stores today" or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, I believe. I mean, it's launching this week. We know that.
We do?
Yeah, various
Oh, right.
weeks.
Wasn't there like some Walmart or a Walgreens thing?
Week. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about next. But yes, it's coming out this week, so I can't imagine they wouldn't not say something.
Yeah. Cool.
As well. And things that we probably won't see, new MacBooks. There's a bit of a rumor that we might see a MacBook Air with a Retina display, but there's been some debate, different blogs saying different things, so that's kind of questionable. And as far as things including the iPod, Apple TV, Mac Pro, there's no expectation we'll hear anything about those just yet.
So, Colby, will you look hard at one of these new iPads? We talked about the iPad dilemma last week, I think.
Maybe. I mean, I think, like I said last week, I'm not particularly excited for anything. I just need to upgrade my iPad because it's not really functional anymore.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. Like I got that iPad sophomore year, so that's what, like 4 solid years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just starting to get, chunk along now. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'll take it.
Are you going to get it in the gold option?
I don't think so.
You're not. Okay.
I'm a space gray guy
Space
myself.
gray.
I think.
Is that like a thing that people put in their dating profiles yet? What Apple color scheme you tend to pick?
Oh, she's a silver. I'm not interested.
It's not silver. What is it?
Well,
What's the
it's space
Appleism
gray,
for
space
it?
gray, silver, and gold.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they had nice two-worders for all those.
No. Well, space gray,
Just
silver,
space gray.
and I don't know. I think gold is just gold. I know it's definitely space gray.
It's not. Isn't gold champagne?
Oh, you might be right. It's something like that. It's pretty bad. I agree. I think what's disappointing about, assuming everything we just discussed is true, I think it's disappointing that there's no news on some of the more consumer things like the Apple TV.
Yeah, the biggest troll ever was that Steve Jobs biographer saying that Steve Jobs said that he cracked the TV.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
I think you're right. Now, at the same time, I will say, I think an Apple Watch event in January or February would be a great opportunity to introduce that product. It's after the Christmas buying season, which I think is a bit of a miss, but at the same time, if you're going to introduce a heavily consumer product like a watch, especially when they're doing all this continuity stuff and getting all their devices talking to each other, like...
Well, isn't there a rumor that iOS will be updated for HomeKit reels, or Apple TV will be updated for HomeKit real soon?
I would hope.
And you'll be able to do HomeKit things through it. I don't know what those would be.
Waves the hand.
Waves the hands, open your garage door, or whatever it was they were talking about at WWDC.
Again, I go back to just imagining Colby in his living room shouting at his television, "Open the garage door! Turn down the lights!" But yeah,
that would be really cool. But they don't need to do a new hardware for that. Like, there could be a whole new Apple TV OS coming real soon.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's true. And the other thing,
like, when are they going to put apps on it?
Yeah, that's a big missing piece, I think, is the App Store, personally.
Yeah.
And I think Apple in the past has done updates to Apple TV without they just update the hardware and just ship you the new one when you order. It's not like a big event. And I
Right.
could see them, if they had to update the Bluetooth in it or the Wi-Fi in it, I feel like they could easily just put in the new part and just keep shipping it.
Yep.
That's very much like them. So this will be an interesting event. We'll have full coverage on Monday. So look forward to new iPads, Macs, and Yosemite. It's gonna be exciting.
I think I'm looking forward to Yosemite. Are you looking forward to Yosemite, Dan?
Yeah, the new UI, that's not the right word. The new theme on it, I guess, the darker theme. Continuity is going to be huge.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially at my work computer. Like, I'm not on my home computer as much now, but at my work computer, if I get my SMS, my phone calls, people sometimes call me at work, and it's a huge pain. That is all I want. I've always been excited about continuity, and I don't even know any other features besides the new color scheme.
To be honest, I think I might try and get an iPhone this weekend.
Ooh.
I'm bored, and my Android, my phone cracked itself this weekend. Really dropped the ball.
Ooh.
It
Your phone cracked itself?
No, it crapped itself.
Oh.
So we were driving back today and using the GPS, and for a while, in middle of nowhere on the Mass Pike, I had no T-Mobile service.
Mm-hmm.
And then service came back, but for whatever reason, the phone did not seem to register that I had service. So we were driving along, and Google Maps got confused about where we were, so it tried to reroute, and it couldn't data, so it just dropped the directions nothing. We were totally blind. So which was fine because we mostly knew where we were, but I dislike it. Also, the Hangouts app sucks. And I went back to using the old text messaging app because it's so annoying.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do it. I don't care.
Yeah, iMessage is great when you have friends on iPhones.
Right. Yeah, and everyone else I know has an iPhone.
Do you think you know what you're gonna get? 6
Plus.
You're gonna go for the plus.
I mean, I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
No.
You're gonna go for
the
the
opposite
minus.
of that. The 6 regular.
The 6 regular.
Space gray, probably.
Space gray.
Oh, speaking of new versions of Apple stuff, I was in Madison Square Garden last week. This is actually kind of relevant to see a professional video game tournament, which was crazy. It was a Dota 2 tournament, professional, for $2 million or something ridiculous like that. Was the whole pot. And that was quite an experience and really cool. And I'd never played Dota 2 before, and I still managed to enjoy it. So, yeah, it was cool. But while I was in Madison Square Garden, it's right above Penn Station.
Mm-hmm.
And right in the lower corner of my screen was the Amtrak app.
Yes.
So it was an iBeacon thing, right? That's what that means?
No.
So
it can be iBeacon. It can also be GPS, because I showed this to Colby. You remember when we were in Poughkeepsie, it showed the Dunkin' Donuts app as well. So I think it's both.
Mm-hmm. And you just swipe up on that, and you're in the Amtrak app or whatever it is. Yeah. And that was really cool. Unfortunately, I wasn't actually going to Penn Station. Fortunately, because Penn Station is a terrible place, some would say the closest thing to hell we have on this earth. But unfortunate, because it was almost really smart.
Yeah, it's a really cool feature. I've as apps have been updating to use iOS, I've been really starting to get into the notification widgets and the swipe actions.
I still haven't done swipe actions on notifications. Colby, do you respond on Android for the swipe actions on a notification, like a text message? You swipe some way and just respond right from the notification pull down?
Can you do that? I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, you're the worst Android user.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you even use any widgets, Colby?
I use a couple widgets. I use widgets in the place of icons. They're like more useful icons.
Mm-hmm.
But I use it for like the podcast app and Spotify and my clock. And I also have a widget that toggles my hotspot, like
Do
personal.
you have
hotspot.
a big ass analog clock on your home screen, Colby?
I don't know.
Okay, good.
It's
That's
a
my
digital
biggest
clock.
pet peeve.
No, I think that's dumb.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. The other day, Swarm... Yeah, I have two cameras. You guys get one, the fans get the other. They come first. Swarm
I'm
updated
mad.
with a widget so you can check in right from your notifications drop down. Here, I'll show it to you guys. So,
Oh, that's nice. That's what I like.
so it tells you where it is, and you just swipe right down and you check it. It's things like that. The one app, and they don't listen to the show, but maybe they do. I use Mailbox as my, and I want to be able to swipe from notifications to archive or delete. And you can't do that yet, and there's no excuse, so get on that.
I just saw that Mailbox app beta for OS X is open source. Yeah, no,
Open for everyone.
But unfortunately, it's only for iCloud or Gmail users. So I couldn't continue my long-standing trying new mail clients in OS X.
I've been using it for work,
And
that's been pretty nice actually.
Mm.
Successful so far.
Yeah, I could do that.
I remain at inbox 0.
I am at inbox 12,000.
Doesn't roll off the tongue as nicely, but
so I found out. I thought for the longest time that I was alone in this, but my email strategy for personal and work is email comes in and it accumulates. I don't read it constantly because I wouldn't get anything done. So when I want to check email, I'll switch over to the tab and I'll look at it. And I can process the information pretty quickly, especially with Google marking things as important and with the chevron. So if you don't know, I realized this last week. One chevron is it's to you, like your email address is in the to line. Two chevrons is it's only you and your email address is in the subject and the to line. So I look at it all. I click on the ones that I want to read that look interesting, and then I mark all as read, switch back. I don't archive, I don't delete, I don't sort. There are no filters because then you can't see everything. I just want to see everything in one spot. I can tell what's bullshit and what's not much better than a computer can. And I don't see the need for all this sorting and filtering and tagging and all these crazy programs and so much work. Does anyone else feel me here?
No. So
also I star things as like go back to this or you'll want it later.
That I do. I do that, yeah.
I think I think doing it that way seems like kind of a cool idea. Like it's like email,
it's like Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
That's really what it is. Most of the stuff I don't care about at all. And the stuff that's really important, Google will put up on top for me anyways.
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a good answer. Maybe that's what I should be doing instead of trying to filter stuff.
Well, that's what I think it is. I think you just have to pick. Gmail gives you a lot of different ways to sort and do things with your email. You just have to pick one, right? So Dan, you just say, I only care about things that are unread.
Yep.
I do it where I only care, I delete or archive. And if it's important, it just sits in my inbox. So things I want to keep and so I just do 1, 2, 3 into one of those 3. Keep, archive, delete. That works for me. You could do it with filters. You could do it with labels. You can do, there's a lot of different ways. The trick is, I think, to just pick one and stick with it. So do it with stars. That's another great way. But
all right,
email sucks.
Just wanted to feel you all out. Email is great.
Oh,
let's think. Oh, wait. Think about it for a second here. Email is the one thing that everyone uses that isn't owned by one company.
Yeah.
I have my own email server. Colby has his own. And you use Gmail, which is really easy. And everything interoperates. And it never fails to send. It always, if it retries, it doesn't bother you about, oh, I couldn't send this immediately because the recipient wasn't available or whatever that crap. It just, everything just works, but it's also all distributed. It's amazing.
You know,
What if, wouldn't it be great if we had like a social network that was like this? If Facebook was designed in the 80s, it would be email. Everyone would have their own Facebook, but you could send messages and friend people on any other server, and it's transparent. You don't even need to know it's happening. Instead, we end up with this stupid Web 2.0 crap.
I never thought about it that way. I think email deserves a little bit of love. I think you're
I
think you're right.
And it's like, what's wrong with email? Still works. So many other things have
it's very
fallen
similar.
apart.
It's very similar to a phone call, where I can call anyone anywhere on any system, and it just works from a number.
And I found out today that phone calls. So we've all seen the picture of all the people in a room plugging wires together.
Yeah, the switchboards.
And that was like the first email. But in between that and digital, or that was the first telephone. In between that and digital telephone was a giant wall, a grid of stuff that physically connected wires automatically.
Well, like switches and things.
Like actually physically switching things automatically based on what you dialed. And that's why long distance phone calls cost so much, because like the amount of energy you're using to make this call is actually pretty significant.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't technology great?
Well,
new technology coming up pretty soon. Hopefully this will work everywhere. Probably not, but we'll find out. We're talking, of course, about Apple Pay. There was some leaks in a couple different companies training information, Apple Store, Walgreens, giving us a little bit of information on Apple Pay. Of course, we'll probably hear more on Thursday. But quickly, Apple Pay will be set up via the Passbook application. And there'll also be a new tab in the Settings app where you'll be able to find information on what you've put in there. You can add up to 8 credit debit cards at a time using either the iPhone's camera to scan in the card or to manually type it in. What's interesting is in the settings, you'll not only be able to see your cards, but you'll also have a list of recent transactions, including where it took place and how much it was for. This is within the settings for your iPhone. You'll also have a quick access to download an accompanying App Store app. So if you're a Bank of America card, you can download their app. Contact the bank, one tap from the Passbook settings. And if the credit card expires, Passbook automatically updates the card with the new expiration date as gathered from the credit card company without you having to do anything.
Interesting.
That is most of what leaked. There's some pictures online if you're interested. The only other thing of note is that Apple in store will have a way to test to make sure your NFC chip is working. And for you to make payments and do things like that in their stores. So there you go, cool. Apple Pay coming this week.
I'm really excited about it, but I have an iPhone 5S.
Yeah. There's your.
Oh no,
Sean and Colby will have to report on it.
Well, Dan, I think this just means you have to get an Apple Watch.
Well, see, yeah, and if none of y'all are getting an Apple Watch, I'm just gonna have to.
That's true.
There's 2 reasons to at that point.
I think, yeah.
As long as they're not actually $1,000, because I can't get the stupid pink and green sport edition or whatever the hell it is. But I don't want one that's $5,000 either. I want I don't know. I was gonna say $500, but that is actually probably too much.
Well, Dan, I think you should stay tuned to my pick next week. Because
next week, not this week?
No, not this week, and I will briefly tell you why.
Oh, crap, picks.
So while Colby is coming up with his pick, I will explain to you. I got a Pebble Watch, and I love it, and I was excited to give my review.
Yeah,
and
Colby said he really liked it, too.
It's
beautiful.
It looks cool, yeah.
Except the screen is broken. So I think I've Googled it, and it's a bit of a known issue. It's the whatever part connects the screen to the display board is known to have manufacturing issues, and I think that's what happened. So a bunch of the pixels don't show up on the screen all the time. So I contacted them. They were very good support. They're sending me another one, and I'm returning the broken one. So I just didn't want to review it without getting the new one, and just, I can't recommend something with a manufacturing defect. So but the week I had with it, I absolutely loved it. So stay tuned next week for my full review of the Pebble Watch. And who knows, Dan, I got the steel at $199, which and you can get the plastic at $99, so a much more affordable option.
It's true. All right, I'll wait for your review, Sean.
All right, I think that's fair. I think you'll. Well, it depends. Well, see, I don't want to get too much into it, but it's just realizing the difference between a watch that is smart and a computer strapped to your wrist. The Pebble is a watch that is smart. It only does a few more things than a watch does, as opposed to an Apple Watch or an Android Wear that does everything. I do not want something that does everything, and that's why I like the Pebble.
Yeah.
Notifications and a few simple apps, that's it. And I'm very happy with that. But let's talk about our actual picks this week. I suppose I will go first since I am first on this list, and the last in reverse alphabetical order. No, first in the reverse alphabetical order. My pick this week is called Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. Now, we've talked about on this show before the importance of two-factor authentication, or having a second way to verify your identity when you log into a product or service. Traditionally, Google Authenticator is kind of the go-to app for enabling your two-factor authentication. And a lot of services these days offer you the ability to have that as a feature, everyone from Microsoft, Google, PayPal, Facebook, Twitter. But I recently discovered, Lifehacker recommended them actually, that there is a third-party provider for two-factor authentication support called Authy. It's similar to Google Authenticator or any of these apps in that it stores your token, and I'm not afraid to show this because it expires in 25 seconds. So, but so there's my Microsoft account and my self-generating code, and I have all my different WordPress, Dropbox, and the tokens there. So it's very similar to Google Authenticator at this point, where when I go to log in, I'll put my regular password and then doubly I verify it with the token here. What's really great about Authy is that it has cloud features. So it syncs my tokens with other devices. Now, I realize this may in fact defeat the purpose of having two-factor authentication, because the idea is, well, a hacker isn't going to crack into my Facebook account because they don't have my phone or whatever, and if I sync it with my desktop, it's not... Okay, I get that. For me, this is a good middle ground of, I like to have the two-factor, but I don't want it to be really inconvenient. So let me see if I can show this on the screen here. So there's a Chrome extension, and when I click, it asks me for my master password, which I will put in. Verifying. Okay. And so here you see it's got all my different accounts, and I can click LastPass, for example. Now it's showing me, which is actually interesting. If I was on LastPass.com, it knows it's LastPass. Here it's saying phishing alert because it knows I'm not on LastPass. So they say, whoa, you shouldn't be giving them your access token. Okay. I know that. I'm going to hit show token anyway, and there you go. So now it shows it on my desktop, and I can hit copy and paste right from the desktop. Convenient. Did it automatically. I only had to enter these once on on a single device, and it was able to sync it with a lot of loopholes in security. Believe me, it took a lot to get this to work. You have to all kinds of passwords and stuff for security, but it's on my iPhone, my iPad, and in browser as well. So my pick this week is Authy. It is free, and it is a really cool way to have the extra safety of two-factor, but not have it be terribly inconvenient. And that is my pick.
Nice.
Also, if you use an app, if you work for a company that requires you to have two-factor auth for VPN or whatever, chances are that app also has the ability to do the things that Authy does, which I didn't realize. So rather than having your company solution and Google Authenticator, you can probably put it all in one of them.
I did not know that.
I don't know why that is. I don't know what, like, how's Authy able to do this? I don't know. Someone tell us.
Fair enough. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, Colby or Dan? No, we'll go to Dan.
All right, cool. So on Sunday, I had nothing to do for the first time since July. In fact, I had so little to do that I went back and found out on the last Sunday I had that I had nothing going on. So after I cleaned the entire apartment, I was bored, which is actually a good problem to have sometimes. And after playing Destiny and none of my friends are on, Colby, I
was hanging out with people in real life, Dan. I don't know.
Life is so taxing sometimes. I was like, well, I've got this cool PlayStation Store thing. I can just download a game and just play it. And I'd heard really good things about this Shadows of Mordor game. I think it's Lord of the Rings Shadows of Mordor.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Earth Shadows of Mordor. And the link will be on the website. So I just downloaded it, and first of all, the PlayStation Store is awesome. It's so great. This downloaded in 12 minutes. Granted, I have like a really good connection, but it was able to saturate it. Downloaded in 12 minutes. It was like 40 gigabytes or something ridiculous like that. But it probably didn't download all 40 gigabytes. It also lets you start playing before everything's done, so you can play through like the first mission while it's downloading the rest. It was really great. But the game is also really fun, so apparently it's like the Batman games, but I've never played those. Basically, you wander around this giant open world, and you're supposed to hunt down these orc captains. But if you die, you come back to life, as is the case in most games. But the orc who killed you gets promoted to captain, and all of these orcs get these long stories and these like attributes and these like the scars on their body and all this crazy stuff. And they'll make comments to you when you see them or after they kill you or something crazy like that. It's actually really engaging, and like the combat's really good, and everything's really polished. It's a lot of fun. So my pick for this week is Middle Earth Shadows of Mordor. My only gripe is that it's not 100% loyal to like the real Lord of the Rings appendices and all that stuff, and as a nerd I've read them and seen everything. But it's a good game, so don't let that stop you.
Cool. Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, available for PlayStations 3 and 4, Xboxes 360 and 1, and for PC. So, and definitely go to our website. We have links to this and all our picks there as well. All right. Colby, I'm excited for your pick in a long line of really specific to Colby picks. But don't let that stop you, because I'm excited to hear about this. So what is your pick this week?
So my pick is my favorite food truck in Boston so far. It's called the Chicken and Rice Guys, and their food is literally that. It is chicken and rice. You get like this giant tin of like rice with chicken and some lettuce, and it's very tasty. But then like the real awesome part is that like they have various sauces that you are free to apply to your chicken and rice yourself in whatever egregious quantity you feel is appropriate, and so you put your sauce on and then you eat it, and it tastes really good. So if you find yourself in Boston and you happen by the Chicken and Rice Guys food truck, you should try it because it's tasty. It's also like you get a ton of food for like $6. So it's pretty sweet. I think they have 3 trucks, and there's usually one around somewhere close to you if you're here. So Yeah,
Cool.
that's my pick.
cnrguys.com. Check them out if you're ever in the greater Boston area. All right. Very good. Well, gentlemen, that wraps us up for this week. Anything more you guys would like to mention?
Are we going to do
that
change mode this week?
episode someday.
Yeah, it's cursed. I'm telling you,
Someday.
it's so cursed. It's so.
Let's just say we're not going to do it, and then
then
if
it will
we
happen.
do it, yeah.
That's a great idea.
It'll
I would
just surprise everyone.
I would have much rather have done it this week than been trapped in a van on a highway somewhere in Pennsylvania. I can assure you.
Aw.
But that's okay. We're hopefully going to do it.
Engineers don't have any good jokes or anything, Sean.
Don't get me wrong, they were fun, but I was sick and exhausted, and we were in that part of Pennsylvania where it's like newly built shopping plazas and business parks for a while, and then it all of a sudden becomes all
the good
the
old
same
Wilkes-Barre.
housing developments with all the same houses
Yeah.
just for miles, and I'm like, who the hell lives here?
Philly commuters.
Yes, well, exactly. So hopefully this week, Wednesday night, 10 p.m., the best way to find out if we're actually doing the show is follow us on social media. What I've been doing is I've been tweeting about Change Mode and Don't Panic from each other's accounts. So you can follow us, Don't Panic Show on Twitter. You can also follow Change Mode Show on Twitter, but you're going to find out either way. So follow, I'm going to say follow Don't Panic, and I promise we'll tweet about Change Mode, but follow both. It's easy. And we're also on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/Change Mode Show for that, and Facebook.com/Don't Panic Show for this show. So follow both. We will post when we're doing it. And of course, the website for Change Mode is changemo.de. And that's coming up Wednesday night at 10 p.m. So that's exciting. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward for that to come back, if it will ever happen. Which it will this week, hopefully. We'll see. I'm really scared to make a guarantee. Because who knows. But we certainly do this show every Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, at our website, don'tpanic.io. Please go there, because these guys built it, and it's pretty sweet, and it's got links to all the super cool stuff. I'm trying to think. I think this week I'm going to specifically pimp our Stitcher channel. If you're looking for a different way to listen to your podcast, Stitcher, really cool app, integrates with all the cars now, which is really great if you've got a newer vehicle, unlike these two guys.
Tesla D.
Yeah, your Tesla D. Watch us in HD on your giant display. Yeah, Stitcher's a really cool way you can subscribe, get that every week. They do a cool push notification and all that. You can do that, but also RSS, iTunes, YouTube, all that. Our website, don'tpanic.io. All right. I think that's it.
Sweet.
All right, well, we'll say goodnight to everyone out there, and we'll see. This show is brewed fresh weekly by the Coffee and Beer Podcast Network. Get all our shows at our website, coffeeandbeer.tv.